Whoever did like this is good at. Okay, so do you want to go? You can say I did that second slide. Like just basically explain what it is before we get into more complex like HIV and all that stuff. Because if they don't because if they don't understand what it is, then they're not going to understand what we're talking about for the rest of it.
It's such nice pictures. Yeah. It keeps us awake. The ABO system, it's the most important blood system, and because it's for transfusions, it can be given to almost all blood types. So if you know how there's the A, type A, type B, type O, and type O can give to anyone, but only type O can give to them. And there's also AB.
There's a video by Michael Wett. And he was talking about the ubiquity of content and how we didn't necessarily need to teach content anymore because you could find it anywhere. And he started talking about all these things that I assumed that we needed to be teaching and how we didn't need to be teaching them. And so when he was talking about that, it finally made sense as, okay, this is the way to teach this stuff, right? Instead of me standing up there for an hour talking about stuff they forget, they need to be learning how to learn this stuff, because whether it's, human anatomy or whatever else they need to learn for the rest of their lives, they need to be able to learn rather than just memorize a bunch of content and forget it all.
And she told us that we'd be doing a lot of it on our own, and then she just kind of like dropped us into it, I guess. But we picked it up pretty fast. We just got into, she put us in groups so that it's not like we're just learning by ourselves.
When you're doing different groups, you have to take in account that so many people learn differently, and there's a lot of people who still like the lectured method versus the computer and self-learning.
So we're doing it on our own, but also together as a group. So we're learning how to work with each other and doing it, and kind of teaching ourselves with it. So in a way we'd understand more too.
Well, I don't think it would be possible without technology, right? And so, telling them that they can do that using Delicious so that they can bookmark all their stuff, because sometimes they'd find stuff in advance of when they needed it. And so now when I have a class go in, the first thing they do, when you sit down, you can just watch them open up all their Delicious pages, because that's the first thing they do. And again, with group work, Google Docs is the best thing, because they can see what they have.
Yeah, Google Docs is a really good way to share in a group. Then you can, if we didn't have Google Docs, we could all sit and do the same thing alone, and then when we gathered together, we wouldn't have answered all the questions. But when we have the Google Docs, we can see, okay, here is this question has been answered, then I will just take another one.
We could see what they were doing as they were doing it, so then if they needed help with something, we could see it on our computer, and they could there's chat things they could tell us, does this make sense to you? And then I could say yes or no, or give them a suggestion, and we don't even have to be in the same place, and we can work together on that. And it just, made it so no matter where you were or who you were, you could all come and contribute what you know and how you do it best on that.
Now I can have the leading people in the fields teaching my students about this stuff. And so they can be learning about neurons from neurosciences. And they should be, because there's so much great stuff out there that I think, instead of going the way of the textbook, I would go the way of technology. over a textbook. You know, it's almost like I have to unteach everything that they've been taught. And I don't feel like we've even reached the spot where we've done that. You know, so it's kind of like you have to deprogram and then start all over. And I just keep thinking, you know, if we started teaching this earlier, this would be so natural to them that there wouldn't be all those barriers. They would know how to communicate. They would know how to talk to each other. They would know how to learn. They would know how to collaborate. They would know how to give feedback. But I find like they don't even know how to do that.